Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a topic that's as intriguing as it is intense. The 10 traits of highly dangerous men. Now before we get started, let me clarify what I mean by dangerous. We're not talking about cartoonish villains twirling mustaches or action movie bad guys. The kind of danger we're exploring here is more subtle, more real, and often far more impactful. These are the men who carry a certain presence, a psychological or emotional edge that sets them apart. They might not be physically threatening, though some could be, but their influence, mindset, and actions can leave a lasting mark, for better or worse. Whether it's in relationships, business, or social dynamics, these traits make them magnetic, unpredictable, and sometimes risky to engage with. So buckle up because we're going deep into what makes these men tick, why they're so compelling, and how to spot them in the wild. If you find this kind of content fascinating, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell, so you don't miss any of our deep dives into human behavior. Let's get into it. First, let's talk about confidence that borders on unshakable. Highly dangerous men often exude a level of self-assurance that's almost unnerving. This isn't the loud, brash confidence of someone trying to prove something. It's quieter, more rooted, like they've already decided they're enough and the world can either catch up or get out of the way. This kind of confidence draws people in because it's rare. Most of us wrestle with self-doubt, overthinking our choices or worrying about how we're perceived. But these men, they seem to operate from a place of absolute certainty. It's not that they never question themselves, though it might look that way, but they've mastered the art of projecting an ironclad belief in their own path. This can be incredibly attractive, especially in a world where indecision is common. People gravitate toward them, seeking that sense of direction, that clarity. But here's the catch. This confidence can also make them inflexible. When someone is so sure of themselves, they might dismiss others' perspectives or steamroll over anyone who doesn't align with their vision. It's a double-edged sword, magnetic but potentially domineering. Now, this confidence often ties into their ability to take risks that others wouldn't dare. Dangerous men don't just play it safe. They're willing to step into the unknown, to bet on themselves when the stakes are high. Think of the entrepreneur who pours everything into a venture everyone else calls crazy, or the guy who walks away from a stable career to chase a dream. This risk-taking isn't reckless in the way we might associate with impulsiveness. It's calculated, driven by a belief that they can handle whatever comes their way. They're not paralyzed by the fear of failure because, to them, failure is just a temporary setback, a data point, not a reflection of their worth. This makes them thrilling to be around. They inspire others to push their own boundaries, to question the safe choices society often nudges us toward. But there's a shadow side here too. Their willingness to gamble can pull others into their orbit, sometimes dragging them into risks they're not ready for. If you're not careful, you might find yourself caught up in their momentum, taking leaps you didn't fully think through. Another trait that sets these men apart is their emotional restraint. This isn't to say they're cold or robotic, far from it. Many of them are deeply passionate, even intense, but they've mastered the art of controlling when and how they show it. They don't wear their emotions on their sleeve, and they're not quick to react impulsively. If you've ever met someone who seems to hold back just enough to keep you guessing, you know what I'm talking about. This restraint gives them an air of mystery, a sense that there's always more beneath the surface. It's part of what makes them so captivating. You want to crack the code, to understand what's really going on in their head. In high-pressure situations, this emotional control is a superpower. They stay calm when everyone else is losing it, making decisions with a clear head. But this same restraint can make them hard to connect with on a deeper level. If you're looking for vulnerability or raw openness, you might find yourself frustrated. They reveal themselves on their terms, and that can leave others feeling shut out or kept at arm's length. This emotional restraint often pairs with an almost predatory focus. Dangerous men have a way of locking in on their goals with laser-like intensity. Whether it's a career ambition, a personal project, or even a relationship, they pursue what they want with a single-mindedness that's both impressive and a little intimidating. This isn't the scattered energy of someone juggling a dozen priorities. It's disciplined, almost obsessive. They're the type to wake up at 4 a.m., to train, or to spend years perfecting a skill while others give up. This focus makes them incredibly effective. They get results where others falter. But it also means they can be ruthless in their priorities. If something or someone doesn't serve their mission, they're quick to cut it loose. This can make them seem cold or detached, especially if you're the one who gets sidelined. Their focus is a strength, but it can also leave a trail of collateral damage in their wake. Let's shift gears and talk about their charisma. Dangerous men often have a natural charm that's hard to pin down. It's not always about flashy smiles or polished small talk, though some have that too. It's more about a quiet magnetism, a way of making you feel seen and understood in the moment they're engaging with you. They're often great listeners not because they're inherently selfless, but because they know how to read people. They pick up on the little cues, your body language, your tone, and adjust their approach to put you at ease or pull you in. This makes them incredibly persuasive. Whether they're pitching an idea, negotiating a deal, or just convincing you to see things their way, they have a knack for getting what they want. But this charisma can be a weapon. Some dangerous men use it manipulatively, charming their way into trust only to exploit it later. Even when their intentions aren't malicious, their ability to influence can leave you questioning your own judgment, wondering if you're seeing the real them or just the version they want you to see. This charisma often ties into their unpredictability, which is another hallmark of dangerous men. They don't follow the script. While most people stick to routines and predictable patterns, these guys thrive on keeping others off balance. They might make bold, unexpected moves, quitting a job out of nowhere, taking a spontaneous trip, or flipping a situation in a way no one saw coming. This unpredictability is part of their allure. It's exciting to be around someone who defies convention, who seems to live by their own rules. But it can also be destabilizing. If you're someone who craves stability or clear expectations, their tendency to shake things up can leave you feeling unmoored. And because their actions can be hard to anticipate, they often hold the upper hand in relationships or negotiations. You're left reacting to them rather than the other way around. Another trait that defines these men is their comfort with power. Dangerous men aren't necessarily power-hungry in the stereotypical sense, but they're not afraid of it either. They understand how power works, whether it's social, professional, or personal, and they're skilled at wielding it. This might show up as quiet authority in a room full of people, or the ability to make tough calls without second-guessing. They don't shy away from conflict or responsibility, and they're often the ones others look to when things get messy. This comfort with power makes them natural leaders, even if they don't seek out the spotlight. But it also means they can be uncompromising. When they're in control, they expect others to fall in line, and they're not always patient with those who don't. This can create tension, especially if you're someone who values collaboration or shared decision-making. Their ease with power is a strength, but it can also tip into dominance if left unchecked. Let's talk about their adaptability. Dangerous men are often chameleons, able to adjust to any environment or situation with unsettling ease. They can walk into a room full of strangers and blend in, picking up the social cues and mirroring the energy around them. This isn't about being fake, it's about being strategic. They know how to read a situation and position themselves to their advantage. This adaptability makes them resilient. Throw them into a crisis, and they'll find a way to navigate it. Change the rules, and they'll rewrite their approach. It's why they often come out on top, even when the odds are stacked against them. But this same adaptability can make them hard to pin down. You might think you know them, only to realize they've shifted in a way you didn't expect. For some, this fluidity is part of their charm. For others, it's a reason to keep your guard up. Another key trait is their willingness to embrace discomfort. Dangerous men don't run from hardship, they lean into it. Whether it's physical, mental, or emotional, they seem to thrive in situations that would break most people. This might mean pushing their body to the limit in training, enduring grueling work to achieve a goal, or facing brutal truths about themselves without flinching. This resilience is inspiring, even humbling. It's the kind of grit that makes you want to step up your own game, but it can also make them hard to relate to. Their tolerance for discomfort can set them apart, creating a gap between them and those who prefer a softer, more comfortable life. And sometimes their willingness to endure pain can lead them to push others too hard, expecting the same level of toughness from everyone around them. Finally, let's touch on their moral ambiguity. Dangerous men often operate in a gray area, unbound by the rigid rules of right and wrong that guide most people. This doesn't mean they're inherently bad, though some might be. It's more that they're pragmatic, willing to bend principles if it serves a greater purpose. They might justify cutting corners, manipulating a situation, or making a tough call that others would shy away from, all in the name of getting results. This flexibility can make them incredibly effective, especially in high-stakes environments where black and white thinking doesn't cut it. But it also makes them unpredictable. You might admire their ability to get things done, only to question their methods later. This moral ambiguity is part of what makes them dangerous. Not because they're evil, but because their compass doesn't always point the same way as yours. As we wrap up, let's reflect on why these traits matter. The 10 traits we've explored: unshakable confidence, calculated risk-taking, emotional restraint, predatory focus, natural charisma, unpredictability, comfort with power, adaptability, embrace of discomfort, and moral ambiguity, paint a picture of men who are both captivating and complex. They're not inherently good or bad, but they're rarely neutral. Their presence demands attention, and their actions ripple through the lives of those around them. Understanding these traits isn't just about spotting dangerous men in the wild. It's about recognizing the qualities that shape influence, impact, and power in human dynamics. If you've encountered someone like this, you know how they can inspire, challenge, or even unsettle you. And if you see some of these traits in yourself, it's worth reflecting on how you wield them. One striking characteristic of highly dangerous men is their ability to inspire loyalty, often without trying. They don't demand devotion or beg for followers, but people naturally gravitate toward them. It's as if their clarity of purpose and unapologetic authenticity create a gravitational pull. They might mentor someone, share a vision, or simply live in a way that makes others want to align with them. This loyalty can build tight-knit circles where those around them feel almost protective, willing to go to great lengths to support their cause. But this influence isn't always benign. Their ability to command loyalty can lead to blind spots, where followers overlook flaws or justify questionable actions. If the dangerous man's goals shift towards something destructive, that loyalty can pull others down with him, sometimes before they even realize what's happening. Another trait that makes these men stand out is their knack for exploiting weakness, not always maliciously, but with surgical precision. They have an almost instinctive sense of where others are vulnerable, whether it's an insecurity, a fear, or a gap in knowledge. This allows them to navigate interactions with an upper hand, subtly steering conversations or situations to their advantage. In negotiations, they might zero in on what you're trying to hide. In relationships, they might sense what you're desperate to hear. This isn't about cruelty. It's about survival and dominance in their world. But it can leave others feeling exposed or outmaneuvered. If you're not aware of your own weak spots, a dangerous man can make you feel like he's reading your mind, pulling strings you didn't even know were there. Another defining quality of highly dangerous men is their ability to thrive in chaos. Where most people crumble under pressure or seek to avoid disorder altogether, these men seem to come alive when things fall apart. They're not just resilient, they're energized by uncertainty, able to improvise and find opportunities in situations that others see as hopeless. This might show up as a cool-headed response to a crisis or a bold move when everyone else is paralyzed by fear. It's as if chaos is their natural habitat, a place where their instincts and adaptability shine. But this comfort with disorder can be unsettling for those around them. Their tendency to embrace or even create chaos can disrupt the lives of others, pulling people into turbulent situations they're not equipped to handle. What feels like a playground to them can be a nightmare for someone else. Thanks for sticking with me through this deep dive. If you found this breakdown eye-opening, drop a like, share your thoughts in the comments, and let me know if you've crossed paths with a dangerous man, or if you recognize these traits in someone close to you. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell for more content on human behavior and the forces that shape us.